Hi all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share a story with you about a serial killer in Texas. But before I begin, I want to take a moment to share a Facebook group that one of my viewers is a moderator in called Shanann and Her Children Always Remembered. Of course, meaning Shanann Watts and her two precious girls and her unborn son Nico. I was invited to join this group by one of my wonderful viewers, Rachella, who was not only kind enough to tell me about it so I could share it with you, but she also made a video about my channel to share in the group so people would know about my channel as well. So, I want to thank you again, Rachella, for your kindness. I really appreciate you telling me about this group and sharing my channel with them. I will put a link to the group in my description box so you can find the group if you'd like to join. Okay, now that we're done with the warm and fuzzy stuff, it's time to get down to murder. Texas, a serial killer, and his victims. Let's get started. On November 20th, 2020, Dallas police held a press conference discussing a series of shootings that took place from Friday, November 13th through Monday, November 16th, that they referred to as alarming because they were separate from anything else they had seen throughout this year. They said they were random shootings that were inconsistent with anything else they had seen previously, and as they investigated the shootings, there was one common denominator coming from the witnesses in each: a black Chevy Tahoe. On November the 14th, there were two random shootings, 30 minutes apart, by a man in a black Tahoe. And on the 16th of November, there was an aggravated assault reported where a black Tahoe was also reported at the scene. Police say they then went on to social media to look for other crimes reported in nearby cities, and they found 3 additional shootings, including one homicide, each with witnesses reporting seeing a black Chevy Tahoe at the scene. Police said at that point they suspected it was the same perpetrator committing the shootings and that they were possibly looking for a serial killer. They reached out to other surrounding cities and found that there were even more random shootings that took place in those cities, but witnesses didn't describe seeing a black Tahoe in those cases. They just described a man shooting out of a car. Because they said it's very rare to have so many cases of random shootings in a specific area, with all witnesses describing a man shooting from a car, police say they linked all the shootings to the same suspect who had access to multiple vehicles. The chief of police went on to say that homicides alone cause fear in communities, but knowing someone is just randomly shooting at victims with reckless regard for human life for no reason is a separate kind of fear. Additional shootings occurred on the evening of November 17th, and a homicide took place on November 18th that police say connected the shootings and helped break the case. The police chief said that once they understood what was happening, they relayed the information to the police departments in the surrounding cities so they all understood they were looking for a suspect in a black Tahoe with black rims. On November 18th, construction workers in Salina, Texas, reported hearing gunshots, then saw smoke coming from a home near where they were located. When firefighters put out the fire, they found the body of 60-year-old Blair Carter, who they determined had died from multiple gunshot wounds. The construction workers reported seeing a black Chevy Tahoe at the scene when they heard the gunshots. When police investigated, they found that Carter's daughter owned a black Chevy Tahoe with black rims. When they questioned her about where her vehicle was at the time of her father's murder, she told them that her boyfriend had taken off in it because they had gotten into a fight, and he was gone for hours. Police arrested her boyfriend, 31-year-old Jeremy Harris, for the murder of her father and for burning his home. Harris then became the suspect police believed they were looking for, who was responsible for the series of random shootings that had taken place. When they questioned Carter's daughter about why Harris was driving her black Chevy Tahoe, She told them that it was because his car was in the shop. When she told them the type of car he owned, they were able to link him to additional shootings that occurred going back as far as Halloween night, where witnesses described a man pulling up and shooting from inside his vehicle. Dallas police say 19-year-old Robert Uriah was shot and killed while he was waiting for a ride after attending a Halloween party. Witnesses said he was standing outside when a vehicle pulled up, and the man inside seemed to summon Robert over to his passenger side window, where he shot him, then sped away, leaving the Southern Methodist University student dying in the intersection. When police arrived, they pronounced him dead at the scene. They were able to obtain surveillance footage of the shooting, giving them a description of the vehicle they were looking for. But they didn't find it until they learned from Harris's girlfriend that his car was in the shop for repair. When they investigated, they found the vehicle they were looking for. His vehicle fit the description of the vehicle at the scene on Halloween night. Police say they learned that Harris took his car to the shop the day after Halloween, after the shooting, because he was involved in a car accident, but not before he was spotted at scenes of random shootings earlier that day. Now that police have been able to put together the vehicles he used each day the shootings occurred, they say they're still placing Harris at additional scenes where shootings took place. Although police say they won't say all the shootings they believe he was responsible for at this time because they don't want to compromise the investigations taking place in surrounding cities, they did say they also believe he was responsible for the shooting death of a 36-year-old homeless man who has an 11-year-old son, a 57-year-old man who was shot in his car as he was waiting at a red light, and 3 additional non-fatal shootings that took place in Frisco, Denton, and Prosper, Texas. During the press conference, the Dallas Police Deputy Chief said, quote, "In my opinion, based on what I've seen so far, I believe this is the definition of a serial killer." Harris remains in the Ellis County Jail and is being held on a $1 million bond. Police say they are using ballistics and phone records to link Harris to the killings. They also say he has previous convictions for drug possession, burglary, assault, evading arrest, assault against a family member, criminal trespass, and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. And he was just released from parole in May. Sounds like absolute boyfriend material, doesn't he? Apparently his girlfriend didn't watch my previous video I did about this little search engine called Google, where you can do criminal background checks on people before you date them. Or maybe she did see it, but she thought I was being overdramatic, as I tend to be here and there. So she probably figured I was just full of it and she skipped it. She probably thought he was a good guy, and I was just jealous that she was dating someone and I wasn't. Which I totally would be if he didn't, kill her dad and burn his house down and randomly shoot a multitude of other people, killing many of them, and, all while using her vehicle, etc. On top of fighting with her and taking off in her vehicle after crashing his own. Yeah, he sounds like a winner all the way around. I hate to disappoint her, but I prefer men who bring me flowers and gifts to apologize after we argue, not ones who go on shooting sprees. Call me stuck up all you want to. I'll be the first to admit it. So to all the men out there who are just dying to get into my comments to ask me out, know you're getting Googled. Googled, Yahooed, AOL'd, and Binged. And I want to talk to your mom. And after all that, if you haven't said to hell with this chick yet, the only thing that you better be guilty of is stealing my heart. I know, that was corny. But I couldn't think of another way to end the video, so, If you think you can do better, then you need to fire up your own channel and try to entertain my audience. They're hard to please, but I love them anyway. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. and I'll see you on my next video.